Hello, students. Welcome to the Tempest Act 5 Scene 1 explanation video part 10. In the previous video, the explanation part 9 video, we had stopped at a point where Stefano, Trinkulo, and Caliban, in a drunken state, are brought near Prospero's cell, where the courtiers and Alonso were present. Stefano and Trinkulo were recognized by the courtiers, but they were wondering that how come they are in a drunken state and where did they get their wine from. So we had stopped at a point where Sebastian says he is drunk now, referring to Stefano, and he said where had he got his wine from. We will continue from that point where after that Sebastian's dialogue, Alonso says, and Trinculo is reeling ripe. Reeling ripe, reeling refers to staggering and ripe refers to drunk. So Trinculo as well was in a similar condition, staggering and drunk. And he says, where should they find this grand liquor and had gilded them, that had gilded them? So where did they get so much liquor, grand liquor, meaning wine, that had gilded them? Gilded them, their complexions were flushed, their faces were flushed because of being in a drunken state. So how did they get so much wine that they could be in this drunken state? How camest thou in this pickle? Chemist came. How did you come in this predicament, in this situation? To be in a pickle means to be in an unpleasant situation, to be in a difficult situation. So Alonso is asking them that how did they land up in this situation? Trinculo to that replies, I have been in such a pickle since I saw you last. Now, Trinculo, remember, is a court jester, meaning a clown. So he is good at words, he is good at wordplay, and he picks the word pickle and he is punning on the word pickle. He uses the word pickle as a pun and he says, I have been in such pickle after the time I saw you last. I have been in this situation from the last time I saw you, which is after the shipwreck. I'm in this situation after the shipwreck because he says, I was in a foul lake, saltwater lake. Now he refers to the mud pool where they had landed up because of Prospero's punishment. So that was a foul lake, salty water, and that's why he says, I'm pickled. Now, any pickle, if you know, when we make a pickle, we use salt as a preservative. So here he says, I am in that sort of pickle because I was in a foul, salty lake after the time I saw you last, after the shipwreck. I fear me, I'm scared, will never out of my bones. I fear this pickle, meaning this salt water or this wine, will never out of my bones, will never be driven out of my bones. I'm so much drunk, he says, and I'm full of the salt water from the foul lake that it has penetrated in my bones. It will never get out of my bones. I shall not fear fly blowing. Now he's joking at that. He's punning on the word pickle. He says, I'm full of salt water, so much so that there will be no flies or maggots sitting on his body, on his face. So he will never have to blow the flies off from his face or body because he's full of that foul salt water, salty water. Okay. So he's picked up the word pickle and he's playing around with the word pickle since he is a court jester, court clown. And clowns in those days were not known for creating comedy out of weird postures and gestures and weird dressing, but it was with humor, with wordplay. So here the word pickle was picked. So Sebastian says, why, how now, Stefano? What about you, Stefano? Stefano says, oh, touch me not. I am not Stefano, but a cramp. Don't touch me because my body fully is of cramps. Now, they were chased by hounds, Prospero's hounds and spirits, and that is the reason his body is full of cramps. So he says, I am not Stefano, I am but cramp. Prospero says, you will be the king of the island, Sirrah. So he's joking here, he's mocking at him, and he says, oh, you are fully drunk, you say you are a cramp, and you are going to be the king of this island, Sirrah. Sirrah was a term used for a boy or a man of a lower status. So Prospero refers to Stefano as Sira. Then Stefano says, I should have been a Tsar one. If I were to be the king, I would be a Tsar king or a sore king. He's playing with the word sore, refers to full of pain and harsh. Okay. Also refers to being bitter. But here the word sore is used as a pun, referring to full of pain. So Alonso says, this is a strange thing. As ever, I looked on. He looks at Caliban, points out at Caliban and says, he's a strange thing. So Prospero says, he is as disproportionate in his manners as in his shape. So he's not just disproportionate or deformed in his manners and his appearance and his shape, but also in his nature. Go, Sirrah, to my cell. Now, this is told to Caliban. Go, Sirrah, to my cell. Take with you your companions, Trinkulo and Stefano. As you look to have my pardon, as you hope to have my pardon, look to have, hope for my pardon, forgiveness, trim it handsomely. Trim my cell handsomely. Trim refers to tidy. It refers to cell. Clean up, tidy up my cell handsomely. Decorate it. Caliban, yes, he says, that I will, and I'll be wise hereafter. Now he's scared that he's going to be punished soon. So he says he's promising Prospero that I'm going to be wise after this. And seek for grace. I look for your pardon, for your grace, for your mercy. What a thrice double S was I. He's cursing himself, or he's pretending to curse himself in front of Prospero so that he gets his forgiveness. To take this drunkard for a god and worship this dull fool, pointing out at Stefano. So he is pretending that he's sorry to consider Stefano as his master. Prospero says, go to away. He doesn't take him seriously. Go to away in a very disgusted manner. He says, just get away from here. Alonso says, hence, right now, and bestow your luggage where you found it. So he's ordering Stefano and Trinkulo. Luggage refers to those stolen clothes. He says, leave it where you found it from. Return those clothes. Sebastian here comments and says, or stole it rather than found it, you stole it. After this, Caliban, Stefano, and Trinkulo exit. Prospero and the courtiers, along with Alonso, are near the cell. Prospero addresses Alonso and says, Sir, I invite your highness and your followers, to my poor cell, where you shall take your rest for this one night, which part of it I'll waste with such discourse as. Now he says, he's inviting everybody to his cell and he's saying, you will rest there for tonight, and part of the night I will waste here means use, with such discourse, with such conversation, with such details, as I do not doubt, shall make it go quick away. Night will definitely pass away quickly. I do not doubt that this night will be a long night, because I am going to discuss the details. I'm going to talk to you all about the story of my life and the particular events, occurrences gone by since I came to this isle, from the time I have reached this island. And in the morning, I'll bring you to your ship, and so to Naples. And then we will all move to Naples. Bring here means accompany. I'll accompany you all to Naples, where I have hope to see the nuptial, where I hope to see the wedding ceremony of these our dear beloved, meaning Ferdinand and Miranda, solemnized, duly performed, and thence retire me to my Milan. After that, I will retire to my Milan. I will go to my Milan, where every third thought shall be my grave. Where every third thought refers to the remaining life, shall be the thoughts of my dying. So the remaining life I will wait for my death, he says. So he is in a mode of retirement. He has already expressed that earlier, because once he said he's going to retire from the world of magic, Now he says after his daughter Miranda is married, he will only think of death because his life will be nearing the death. Alonso says, I long to hear the story of your life, which must take the ear strangely. I yearn, I'm waiting to hear the story of your life, which must take the ear strangely, which must be captivating, which will be engrossing. Prospero, I'll deliver all. I will declare, I will relate or narrate all of it to you and promise you calm seas. And tomorrow morning, when we leave for Naples, I promise you calm seas, auspicious gales, auspicious, favorable gales, winds, and sail so expeditious, sail, voyage, so expeditious, speedy. So a speedy journey that shall catch up your royal fleet far off. So other ships that Alonso was traveling with, they had gone far off, thinking that the king's ship had wrecked. So he says, I'll ensure that you catch up and you meet your royal fleet, the other ships. Aside to Ariel, he says, my Ariel, chick refers to deer, that is thy charge. Make sure that the ship sails smoothly, speedily, and catches up with the royal fleet. That is your order. After that, then to the elements to your natural elements. Remember, Ariel was a spirit of air belonging to the natural world, natural elements. So he says, after your last order, last command that I'm giving you, you will be free to mix up, to blend with your elements. Be free and fare thou well. So he's freeing Ariel, giving him liberty after the last command. To all but Ariel, he says, please you, draw near. All the courtiers, along with Alonso, he says, I request you all to come near, go to his cell. And they all exit. The curtain here falls off, and it's the end of the play, a formal end to the play. No other characters will be seen after that, except that Prospero will reappear to give his monologue. So in the next video, we will discuss his monologue in detail. As of now, all the courtiers exit, and we have to suppose that they are going to Prospero's cell.